Congratulations on your 100th episode.
Congratulations on your 100th episode.
Let's have a party with chicks and guns and fire trucks and hookers and drugs and booze.
Yeah. All the things that make life worth living for.
I don't think so.
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes! Thank you, Mozette, and welcome to episode 502 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. As we get ready to evaluate the free agency frenzy so far, where your salary can be directly tied to your weight. Who knew? Let's meet the posse for this episode, of course. First, my partner in crime from merry old England, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Moses. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm not too bad. I'm in a little bubble of ignorance apparently right now, and I'm feeling quite good about it.
I know nothing. Say it's bliss.
A lot of that going around.
I know absolutely nothing about what's happened in free agency because, like any true Seahawks fan, I have paid no attention to all the fake news that's obviously going through the internet at the moment. So I know nothing. Everything. I'm just disbelieving everything right now.
Oh, that fake news! It's everywhere, isn't it?
Yep. Cooper Helfrich starting first week. I've seen it all. I know it's all gonna happen.
Oh dear. You got some bad surprises coming up in the show. Also,
like most shows.
Like most
shows.
Yes.
Welcome
Our
to my
news
life.
hound is here. You know him as Shadowhawk. We know him as Will. Hi, Will.
Hey, Moses. The kids are sounding a lot more enthusiastic today.
Well, I gave them a couple extra pills. Don't tell anybody. But
that would do it.
And the caffeine. And I gave them some Red Bull. So they're very enthusiastic now.
I like
you know who else is enthusiastic? The man on our posse that puts the small and small talk. It's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
What?
How are you, Dustin?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's your break been away from football?
Fine.
He's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
Dustin, are you okay?
Fine. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this. Let's do a show.
Right, let's do it. Well, we got one more person.
You just want to move on? Let's go.
Just a minute. We have one more person to talk about before we do that. Making his third appearance on the show, it is my son, Little Mo. Little Mo, hi.
Hi.
How you doing, Little Mo?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. He's in the other room. I can't see him, so I don't know what he's doing right now. How is you're on spring break? How's your spring break been so far?
Well, I've been around you, so you leave it at that.
A dream break for anybody. It's a dream break for anybody. Hey guys, I have a special announcement. Yes! It's our 100th episode, everybody! Woohoo!
Yay!
100th episode. For real. And we're going to have a 100th episode special later. After this episode.
We all know what the listener is thinking. I say listener because I don't want to do plural, but we all know what the listener is thinking. How on earth are they still doing this?
Yeah, 100 episodes.
Yeah.
It's because we have no
overhead.
lives. For 5 years, we've had no lives.
For a lot longer than 5 years, actually.
I do have a surprise before we actually go into the show. I know some of you know who Mario Lopez is by chance.
AC Slater.
Apparently Mario's a listener because he sent me this congratulations on 100 episodes. So I want to play this for his audio from Mario Lopez congratulating us on 100 episodes, okay?
It's your boy Mario Lopez here, and I just wanted to congratulate you on 100 episodes. That is awesome because you know I love me some
12-Man Fan Jam Show. So thank you, Mario.
Wow.
But hey.
Our first celebrity endorsement.
Do you know who Vivica Fox is? Because she listens too. Who knew? So Vivica also sent us she also says congratulations on 100 episodes. Vivica sent this message.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica Fox, wishing
the 12-Man Fan Jam Show
a big congratulations on your 100th episode. You go.
So there's Vivica.
I feel so loved and appreciated. It's a new feeling.
And then, do you guys know who Jasmine Sullivan is?
No.
Yeah,
Don't know that one.
But she sent one too.
It's Jasmine Sullivan, and I just want to say congrats to
The 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
for your 100th episode. I love you guys, and I hope you go so much further.
So thank you guys for those wonderful well wishes.
That was nice of them.
Wasn't that nice of them? Oh, the lawsuits will be coming. All right. At any
Not
event,
our first.
Yeah, it's time to tell us what's in store for this episode. Michael Bolton.
Boys, let's get to it.
Yes, let's get to it. This show is broken into 4 quarters and a halftime. Quarter 1 will be news. Quarter 2, we review the losses for the Seahawks in free agency so far. Then, halftime, the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. Where I believe last week, the last episode, 501, was won by...
Me.
Was it won by Will?
That was me.
Yeah, that was you. So Will has won the first one. Let's see who wins the second one. Quarter 3, free agency gains for the Seahawks. Quite a lot to talk about there. And then quarter 4, we're going to look ahead at the chances of seeing Marshawn Lynch playing for the Raiders and Richard Sherman being on the trading block and all those silly things that come with the offseason, all those rumors. We're going to talk about them and give our perspective of what might happen in those situations. But before we start, like, share, subscribe, Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We're on Twitter. We're on email. And don't forget our special episode. Our first 100 episodes will be coming to Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel very soon. But before we all do that, let's take a break and get to the first quarter and the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report. Yes, it's our own Shadowhawk Will with the news. This 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report brought to you by the NFL Free Agency, where you can feel overpaid and underappreciated. Will, what you got for us?
I just want to say I'm a little disappointed that Michael Bolton didn't wish us a happy 100th episode, too.
Yeah.
It's just,
Man's
I
a
don't know.
douche.
But he wants the show to get going. Let's get to it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moses, last year, as we all know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers used a second-round pick on a kicker, Roberto Aguayo.
Ah, yes.
And that decision went so well that they signed another kicker, Nick Folk, late of the Jets, this year. So, of course, they're talking to Folk about the upcoming competition, since the Buccaneers are not the 2009 Seahawks. They will not be keeping 2 kickers. Thank you, Tim Ruskell.
Wait, who was that second kicker? Do you remember?
I just remember he reminded me of the guy from Sling Blade.
Yeah, Brandon Coutu, Coutu.
That's right.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Katoo. Yeah.
So,
Never saw the light of day, but go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I
me
think that
neither.
a lot,
Don't worry, it's fine.
but Nick Folk was on an interview with radio station WDAE and said, quote, "I can hopefully get him going a little bit in the NFL world. I had a great guy to learn from in Martin Gramatica my rookie year. I kind of picked things off of him just sitting and watching. I mean, hopefully I can show him a few things. Not too many, though, because I have a family to feed." So Nick Folk is going to be kind of a mentor to Roberto Aguayo in Tampa Bay, and it'll be interesting to see how that little competition plays out.
You know, they're not always friendly. I can't remember who was the punter for the Seahawks in preseason one year when Fiegels was the kicker. And I don't think it was Ryan. I think this was before Ryan. But we had a punter. It might have been, remember, didn't Donnie Jones kick for us in preseason one time? He's been kicking forever for...
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those young kickers, and I was at the Colts preseason game against the Seahawks. And we saw these people with, you know, the weird number on their jerseys. And we're like, well, you know, you're obviously not just a fan of the Seahawks. And they're like, no, that's our son that's punting. You know, we came to see him, and I thought, that's really cool. And so we started talking, and they told me that Jeff Fiegels, at the time, who was kind of the incumbent there, was a total jackass to their son. Like, he wouldn't help him. He wouldn't let him get in and kick extra balls. He wouldn't do anything to help him. He's like, man, this is my livelihood. You just need to stay away from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cold. But, you know, Jeff Fiegels was pretty old at the time, too, so I'm sure he was a little nervous about losing his job.
He's just grumpy, one of those get off my lawn kind of guys at that age, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was...
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this whole thing, you want to help each other, but you don't want to help each other too much, because then you wind up losing your job. That's a legitimate concern.
Well, and it's hard enough when you could lose your starting job and just get a backup. But like I said, they're not going to keep 2 kickers. So whoever loses that competition is out on the street. Who knows if they get another place.
And the life of a kicker, Little Mo, is very fleeting, isn't it?
Totally.
It must be awful being like a benched kicker though, because like you get to sit around every Sunday and watch the game, without having to like buy a ticket, and they pay a couple of $1,000s to sit there and do that, and then you get a load of endorsements for doing absolutely nothing. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
I'll do that job.
I'm in the wrong line of work, clearly.
Totally.
Yeah, we all are, clearly. Well, Kotu never saw the light of day, but how many years? 2 or 3 he was on that roster?
Yeah, at least a couple.
That's a second kicker. Yeah. Very sad but true. Hopefully that won't happen again, but you never know. Well, what else you got for us?
Well, Moses, before I get on to the second item, I just want to let you know that parental discretion is advised, because this concerns Martellus Bennett.
Dustin, close your ears.
Little Mo's heard worse. Go ahead.
It's Dustin I'm worried about.
Yeah, good point.
Well, one of the things the league is considering is changing their stance on penalizing celebrations. And apparently they're putting together a training video that will show players which type of celebrations are allowed and which ones will draw penalties. If this seems silly to you, you and Martellus Bennett are in complete agreement. And I'm going to read the whole quote that was taken from his Twitter account, aggregate Twitter account, because it's Martellus Bennett, and you have to do the whole quote to give it justice. An educational training video on celebrations. Spend that money on something else like a video on investments or something that will help the players. Who gives a shit what guys do when they celebrate? Do something impactful. Y'all wasting guys' time with this shit. Let the players express their individuality and creativity. Y'all going to make an educational video on how we should talk next? Bennett went on to say that when the video is shown at Packers training camp, he already has other plans. Said, quote, I'm going to be taking a 15-minute dump whenever we're supposed to watch this educational video. I can feel my stomach bubbling now. So,
can I just a video though on teaching people how to talk would be ideal for Americans, firstly, and secondly, can you imagine Bill Belichick's face when someone says you need to sit down and watch this video about how to talk?
Yeah, I would enjoy that.
I'm not going to watch this video.
Oh my God. Too much time in the restroom, apparently. That's a great excuse, though. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom. I really don't feel well. And just, sit there for 15
minutes. It happens.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm just shocked, Dustin. I'm shocked that a Bennett actually has an opinion on something.
Yeah, they're usually pretty quiet and chill. Yeah. I'm surprised, too. That's weird. Yeah. Completely out of character. That is pretty funny, though. Those guys are hilarious.
They are. They are. Little Mo, how do you celebrate over at the playground when you score a touchdown?
I don't.
You don't score or you don't celebrate?
I don't score.
You don't go to school?
That's exactly what I just said, yeah.
Yeah, you do. Well, not this week, but when you are at school and you're in the playground playing...
I never score a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
Well, your buddy Graham, who's a Seahawk fan, by the way, Graham scores. What does he do?
I don't know.
So much full of information. You can tell we spent a lot of time together.
If you don't score touchdowns, the Cleveland Browns are totally in for you right now. I tell you could be their first pick.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. You want to play for the Browns, Little Mo?
No, I take the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Smart answer.
He does. He does every day. He takes the Browns to the Super Bowl. That's another story.
Kind of like Martellus Bennett.
Kind of like Martellus Bennett. Kind of like our first 100 episodes. But on that note, Will, thank you so much for the news.
You're quite welcome.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, lots of show left, new faces in Seahawk uniforms. But coming up next, we discuss the Seahawk free agency losses. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Welcome to the second quarter of episode 502 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. It's also our 100th episode. Hey, speaking of 100, coming to a Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel near you, a special 12-man Fan Jam show, the first 100 episodes, a historical and maybe hysterical retelling of the story of this show and all the joy, pain, and tears that 100 episodes of anything can bring you. So be looking for that soon. All right, the dust of free agency frenzy has settled a little bit, so let's go ahead and see where we are, where this team that we like, the Seahawks, is, and what happened in regards to the Seahawks. First, we're going to talk about in this quarter the losses. So here's a list of losses so far. Dustin, who on that list kind of stands out to you as somebody that we lost that's kind of either a big loss or interesting they didn't re-sign?
TJ Lang.
Let it
TJ
go,
Lang.
Dustin.
That's nice. All right. So, okay, I guess we can include him as one who wouldn't sign.
No, I would say actually Hauschka. And it's not necessarily because he had a great year or anything, but I'm more concerned about the person that they have in his place because we broke him. So,
and now we're going to fix him.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Because I'm really concerned about that kicking game right now.
Poor old Blair.
Oh, I
At
know.
least I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. He's not the only one.
Poor old Blair.
Poor old Blair.
I just remember that video when he missed that like 20-inch attempt, whatever it was. And there was a little old lady sitting there with all her family, and they went, "Oh no, he missed it!" And she went, "Oh no!"
I know, and they're all there. She's like, "Oh dear."
That was really funny.
Oh bother.
Well, I think we talked on this show a little bit about Hauschka, Will, and we said, well, I think we kind of thought, well, it's the long snapper or it's the holds or whatever, but the kicking game was not exactly on point last year.
No, and he bears some responsibility for that. And, maybe a change of scenery is good for the Hawks. Maybe it's good for him. Time will tell. But as far as losses, the one guy on that list that I was sorry to see go, even though I knew it was going to happen, was DeMontre Moore. He was somebody when he was here I think he only played like 5 or 6 games, but got good penetration, was showing a lot of promise as an interior pass rusher. And then he got stupid and got busted for a DUI. And it's like, what is wrong with you morons, really?
Yep.
Because honestly, I think if he had kept his nose clean, he could have gotten a longer-term deal here and really parlayed that into something special. But now
I think so too. It seemed like he was always around. Like when he was out there, he was always around wherever the play was. Like it just seemed he was always there, either making the play or he was right there ready to make the play. And I thought, wow, this guy's pretty good. And like you said, he did something stupid. And now it's Cowboys' problem. So we'll let Jerry deal with him. But yeah, I agree with you a little bit there. That was kind of a sad loss in a way. Matt, who do you see on this list that is a sad loss for you?
Rockwell. And let me tell you why.
Yes,
I at the moment, I still haven't got over, right? Okay, Cooper Helfer obviously leaving last year, October the 11th, a day that will live in infamy. And is marked on a calendar with a big black marker. And now, not only that, but I've got to put up with the fact that the neck from Connecticut, because Brockwell's neck is actually bigger than his head, I don't know if anyone's seen this, has now gone to the San Francisco 49ers. So right now, everybody's leaving me. Hauschka's gone, Hofoot's gone, Coyle, the neck from Connecticut, has gone. And who am I left with?
Us.
Oh,
I don't know.
Just wall-to-wall ugly people. And there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. Wall-to-wall ugly people.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry that has happened to you, Matt.
It's disastrous. I'll get over it.
Now, I personally, I will get over the loss of Brandon Williams, but I thought he really, especially special teams, he really helped out with our special teams. And I thought really, as far as, blocking tight end, I thought he did pretty well. I don't know if I'm saying, oh God, we've lost him and oh man, what a terrible loss. But, losing Brandon Williams is something that they're going to have to replace not only as a tight end, but also as a blocker and also as a special teams person, which I think they did this week later. We'll talk about that third quarter. But, all in all, though, guys, this is not a terrible list. Is there anybody that you were really upset about when you heard they were gone?
Kind of Hauschka, but not too bad.
Yeah. The other ones, you're just kind of like, oh, well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Hauschka, I mean, the thing about Hauschka is that, he's been so solid for us for so long, and he had an off year last year. If this had happened a year or two ago, I think there would have been more outrage, but maybe now's the time that you make that cut, and I think his comment about it being interesting, I think, is a way of saying it was a cut to save money. I think he's right. But at this point, do you pay him?
One of the reasons why I was mad is because who our backup, I guess our starting kicker was, which was Blair Walsh.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like Dustin's not too happy about that either, are you?
But he could be a cheap, relatively cheap superstar. If we fix him, then he can be booting at half the field again because he used to. Until we broke him.
Yes, and he was like an all-pro kicker.
Yeah,
not very long ago, and he's young. So who knows? Will, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's gonna come in here and give it a shot. They just signed that other kid, John Lunsford, who I've never heard of, but I'd never heard of Hauschka until we signed him. And
right.
They're going to be in there, and who knows, maybe we'll bring in an undrafted free agent too. And one thing this front office has shown is that if there's a problem, they're going to bring in a lot of guys to potentially deal with it, as we have seen. We'll get into that next quarter. But they're going to bring in enough kickers that we're going to be okay. May not be up to the level of Hauschka at his best the last couple of years, but I think it'll be solid enough.
I think so, too. One last question, not to put any of you on the spot, but as you look through the free agents that are still available, that Seahawks haven't signed, who do we think is the next one gone? Who do we think? Dustin, is there anybody that you're thinking probably gone?
Yeah, several actually, because they've signed they've signed some linebackers and they've signed some safeties and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that writing's on the wall for some of those guys. Like, I don't think we're gonna end up seeing somebody like Kelsey McRae come back. I don't think he's gonna be on our team. He'll be with somebody else,
Yeah, possibility. Will, is there anybody you see?
Well, one guy I don't want to sign elsewhere because I want him back is Marcel Reese. So he better not.
I agree. I think Mike Morgan obviously is gone, and we'll talk about that in third period. Obviously, they've signed a lot of linebackers at his position.
Today alone.
Yeah, right. So I think Mike Morgan's gone. And I liked Mike Morgan. I'm not, oh my God, what a terrible loss, but I think he was pretty solid at linebacker. But it might be time to move on. Maybe he's shown them, all he can show them, and they think they can upgrade there. So we'll see. And we'll talk about that next quarter. But before we do that, we have to end the second quarter. So this is the end of the second quarter.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Coming up, so much more show. Who did the Seahawks sign? Who's left to sign? Signs everywhere sign. Blocking out the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that. Can you read the sign? All these answers and more just around the corner. But first, another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next.
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Matt, Will, Dustin, and Little Mo, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my two charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. Obviously, Little Mo cannot be asked for any help because he is competing. However, Mosette did take this quiz earlier. So once out of the first 2 rounds, you can ask what Mosette said, what she answered. The topic for round 1 is free agent additions, and the wild card question is about the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. So get ready for that. I guess our returning champ is Will. So, Will, would you like 1, 2, 3, or 4?
1.
Will takes number 1. Little Mo, 2, 3, 4.
2.
2. Dustin, 3 or 4?
4.
All right.
Come
Matt,
on.
3 or 3?
I have 3, please.
All right, here we go.
Excellent choice.
Okay, 3 questions about our new additions and 1 about our show, which everyone I know will get right. Okay.
Not me.
Yeah. Will, your question is about Luke Jokel.
Okay.
Right? Actually, it's about his dad. The question is, what college did Luke Jokel's dad play for? He was a 3-year starter at offensive line.
I wish Matt had gotten this one.
Was it? Now remember, Luke played at Texas A&M. Is it Texas, Texas A&M, or Texas Tech? Dance! What college did Luke Jokel's dad play for? Texas, Texas A&M, or Texas Tech? He was a 3-year starter on their offensive line.
I'm going to go with just plain vanilla Texas here.
Plain vanilla Texas. Well,
just don't mess with them.
Don't mess with Texas. Mosette said Texas Tech. You said Texas. Nah, it was Texas Tech. Texas Tech, believe it or not. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech. So, Will actually missed the question. That does not happen very often. All right.
Yay.
Little Mo, you have a question about Eddie Lacy.
Oh, great.
What college did Eddie Lacy... No, I'm kidding.
Alabama.
Right. And at Alabama, Little Mo, how many rushing touchdowns did Eddie Lacy have at Alabama? Was it 28, 30, or 32? How many touchdowns rushing did Eddie Lacy have at Alabama? 28, 30, or 32? Those are pretty good numbers.
So in the middle, 30.
Go in the middle, 30. Well, Mosette said 28. You said 30. Yeah! 30.
Yeah!
And Lil Mo is on the board. By the way, he's in a separate part of the house. He cannot see these questions or anything I'm doing, so.
Sure.
Right.
All right. Question 3 goes to Matt. Matt, it is about the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. And your question is this.
How many listeners do we have?
1, 2, or 3?
Who won the very first 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia game? The very first 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia game, was it Matt, Statsman Mark, or Will? Who won the very first trivia game on this show?
I've slept since then.
No.
Well, let's be confident. Me, I won it.
Let's be confident. Me. And, I want to say, Mosette said, well, Matt's won 1 million of them, but I bet Statsman Mark has won.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. You said me, though. You said Matt.
That's
you.
Yes.
You won. Shaka shocks.
Bastard.
I know. Dustin.
Uh-huh.
Your question is about Bradley McDougald, or how you pronounce that last name. It's like McDougald with a D. McDougald, I guess?
Yep.
I'm not sure exactly how you say it.
Bradley
It's McDougald.
Let's say McDougald. Bradley McDougald's first NFL interception was against what quarterback? Drew Brees, Cam Newton, or Aaron Rodgers? Brees, Newton, or Rodgers? Who was the first NFL interception for Bradley McDougald?
All right, so he's coming from
Tampa
Bay. I'll say Breeze.
He'll say Brees. Was that say Cam Newton? Because she said, I hope it's Cam Newton.
Me too.
She said, I really hope it's Cam Newton. And you said Breeze. Yeah, it's Breeze, Dustin.
Aw.
Awesome. So everyone scored but Will in that
I
round.
wanted it to be Cam Newton, too.
Yeah, I think we all do. We all want that to happen.
I really, really did.
Yeah, I think we all do. Okay, well, let's see here. I guess we will go 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll start with Little Mo. Little Mo, 5, 6, 7, or 8?
6.
Little Mo said 6.
Yeah, I heard he did. Yep.
Matt, 5, 7, 8.
7.
Dustin, 5 or 8?
8.
And that means question 5, of course, goes to Will. All right, Will.
Bring it.
Here it is. These are free agents re-signings. So these are guys that have re-signed for the team. So guys that we already know. And, of course, one question about the show. Okay. Will, yours is about Nico Thorpe. Nico Thorpe. He actually played in the Canadian Football League. What team did he actually play on in the Canadian Football League? Was it the BC Lions, the Toronto Argonauts, or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? Nico Thorpe. The BC Lions, the Toronto Argonauts, or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
I'm going to go Blue Bombers.
He's going to go Blue Bombing. He goes Blue Bombing. So did Mosette. She also said Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You said Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Toronto Argonauts. Toronto Argonauts.
I knew it wasn't BC, so.
A rare shutout for Will. All right. Little Mo. Luke Wilson. Hi. It's about Luke Wilson. Hi. Luke Wilson actually signed a baseball contract in 2011. Who did he sign to play baseball for? Was it the Atlanta Braves, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, or the Toronto Blue Jays? Who did Luke Wilson actually sign a baseball contract to play in 2011? The Braves, the Devil Rays, or the Blue Jays?
The Braves.
The Braves. Mosette said the Devil Rays. You said the Braves. It's the Blue Jays. I'm sorry. The Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah,
I thought that would make too much sense.
Yeah, I know. Because he's
Blame
Canadian,
Canada.
Right? Yeah.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, no
They're
doubt.
not even a real country anyway.
Oh, if only Canadian Andy was here. Speaking of Canadian Andy, he's on the next question, Matt, because it's a question about the show.
I got both of them. I love it.
You got both of them. He's actually one of the answers here. Who has been a guest on this show the most times? Mike Pascal, Northern Hawk Andy, or Tom Lucas? Who has been the guest the most on this show? Mike Pascal, Northern Hawk Andy, or Tom Lucas?
Not
about me.
Are you including the live video show?
Yes.
Yes. So it's going to be Mike Pascal.
Mike Pascal.
By
All
one.
right. Mosette said Andy. You said Mike Pascal. It is Andy. 6 times for Andy. 4 for Pascal.
Wow.
4 for Lucas. I know you would think it would be more, but Andy was around a lot the first part of the shows. First 50, 60 episodes.
He's the only one we could get.
That's right, basically. No.
Then there was Prison. We haven't heard from him since.
It has. It happens. Mm-hmm. He's going to make an appearance soon. Dustin.
Yeah?
Yours is about Deshaun Shedd.
Deshaun Shedd. I know that guy.
Deshaun Shedd, yeah. What record does Deshaun Shedd still hold at his high school? Is it the 50-yard dash, the javelin throw, or the pole vault? He still holds a high school record for either the 50-yard dash, the javelin throw, or the pole vault.
For some reason, I want to say javelin.
Well, then say it.
Javelin.
All right. He said it. Mosette said the 50-yard dash.
Such a fun word.
Javelin.
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 Javelin. No!
Oh.
Pole vault. And who would think that?
That's not a fun
Shedd,
word.
expert pole vaulter. Who knew?
What's that?
Well,
when you like
you're a little
run,
older,
you got a pole and you
go
push
to a
off.
club.
And,
Wait.
yeah. Oh God. Ooh. I jumped right over that one.
You really did too.
Yeah.
Man. But we digress.
You should have said ask your mother.
I should have, if I had even thought. God.
I'm never going to talk.
No, yeah. We're done.
That's probably for the best, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know who's redder now, me or him. All right. Final question. It's time for the final question. All right, here it is. Final question. Remember, it's over under. Whoever's closest without going over gets the 2 points. And if everybody's over, whoever's the closest gets the 2 points. It's a number. And the order will be Will, Dustin, Matt, Little Mo. Here we go. You ready, Will?
Yep.
All right. Your question is this. Including this show, how many 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia competitions have we had? Including this show, out of 100 shows, how many Fan Jam Show halftime trivia competitions have there been ever on this show? Including when we were 12-man Fan Jam. Will.
Okay. I am going to say 69, dude.
Dustin.
Yeah.
How many 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia competitions have there been in this show, including this one?
65.
Matt.
Yeah.
How many 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia competitions out of 100 have there been?
72.
Little Mo.
73.
73.
You had to work out which one was more than the two.
Okay. You know, one thing we did do on this show a long time ago was we had a live show. Well, it wasn't a long time ago. It was last season. We had a live show, and something happened in that live show that made Will
I
very
went over
upset.
by one again, didn't I?
The actual amount of 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia competitions that we've had, including this one, are 68. Will had 69. And that means that Dustin is our champion for this week. Dustin, congratulations.
I knew it as soon as you started saying it.
Oh, my God. I saw that. He said 69. I went, oh, crap.
It's the 100th episode. I had to uncork something special.
Oh, just the memories. If you haven't seen the live show, Will was off by one on that one as well. Oh, my God. Unbelievable, guys. What an amazing, another amazing crowd-pleasing. Crowd-pleasing? Crowd-pleasing.
I thought you said child-pleasing, and I thought that was weird. I was getting
pole vaulting
uncomfortable.
edition of the 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. We'll be back with the second half of the show after this quick station identification. Skilo!
I tell them scat, skills, goodbye. Got hit with a body, but you're in a hospital, but dark in that mess. I confess it's a shame when you living in a city that's the size of a box and nobody knows.
You're listening to the 12-man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
What's the matter, Hesse? Don't you know Luke Joko? Welcome to the third quarter of the 12-man Fan Jam Show. You get it?
Saying in the membrane.
Little Cypress Hill, come on! Don't you know Luke Joko? Come on!
Luke
right.
You tweeted that to Danny O'Neill.
I just gotta say, he was very excited for this.
I was!
Wow.
Wait all week to say that. Don't you know Luke Joko? All right. All right, programming note. Coming to Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel near you. Special 12-man Fan Jam Show. The first 100 episodes. A historical and maybe hysterical retelling of the story of this show. And all the joy, pain, tears, and blood and sweat that 100 episodes of anything can bring you. All right. The whole Luke Joko thing is because we're going to talk about the free agent signings. And there's Luke Joko was the first one. And here's the list for you. And we'll turn down Cypress Hill. And Will, before you start, I want to ask, I think Matt is the one I want to start with. Matt, who stands out on that list of a free agent signing the Seahawks did?
Eddie Lacy. Well, he's not free agent, but can I just say, right? Why would you sign someone the size of a rhino? There's something going on in the Seahawks front office whereby we're letting Hauschka go and bringing in Blair Walsh, broken kicker. We've got Eddie Lacy, the size of a rhino. Brock Coyle, neckman from Connecticut, gone. There is something going on in that front office.
What'd you say about Blair Walsh at the break?
Oh, yeah. Blair Walsh looks like Snarga the Orc from Lord of the Rings. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. The trouble is he's got a little pointy nose and a little pointy chin, a little pointy face, and he's all sort of pointy. And he looks a little bit like Snarga the Orc. Now, you'd have to see the picture to know who Snarga is, but that was the one who wanted to eat the hobbits. You know, they don't need their legs. But he looks a little bit like that.
Damn,
Puts me right off. Looking at him now.
So you're upset about Eddie Lacy?
Yeah, he's huge. I mean, honestly, he's slim fast would like, you know.
Well, you know, he has like a weight he has to check in now. There's like he has to make so much weight by, you know, each month or whatever. They're gonna have a weigh-in. His weight is actually part of the contract.
If he doesn't make the weight, he's not on the team.
I think so.
He doesn't get the money. If he doesn't
get the money, is it a bonus? Okay.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
Hold on. Right, I'm putting this down now. So, Sam, let me get this right. The Seahawks are paying this dude to lose weight. So suddenly, we're now the Seattle Slim Fasters. That's what we are now.
Yep. It's like 300. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I lost all that weight 2 years ago for free. I wish I'd known that this was available.
Right? I'm not being funny, like, because what they could have, how much they paying this dude to lose weight? Because I'll come over to America and I'll do it.
Well, the bonus for it was, I think they said they wanted him around 240, I think they said.
245 to 250, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it's $385,000 total if he makes that weight. And like every time they have like little mini goals, and every time he makes weight at a mini goal, I think it's like $55,000 or $50,000 or something.
$55,000 for weighing in. Do you know what? I'd eat Rovi for $55,000.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: if he makes that weight,
okay,
we're paying him to do that. We're giving him positive reinforcement, kids. If you get positive reinforcement for that, and he loses that weight, and he comes in opening, preseason at what are we saying, 255? Is that right? 250, something like that?
245 to 250.
250 is. I mean, that was my big concern about him was his weight. But if he can keep that off.
Yeah, but you know what it's like, Dennis, you know what it's like. No one ever keeps that weight off. All of us fat people, we always turn around and say that we're going to keep the weight off, and eventually it creeps back on again. You get to 40, you get to 50, then you get fat again.
Hey.
Matt, I don't get someone paying me $55,000 to lose it.
Well, that's true. No, that's true. If I'm paid $55,000, I'm just eating one tomato a day. That's what I'm doing.
Hell yeah. So I don't know. But potentially, we have here in Eddie Lacy a potential running back that, and I'm not looking for somebody to replace Rawls, remember. We're looking for somebody to, Rawls injured, Procise injured. We don't need a 300 carry guy. We need a guy that can come in and supposedly over the last, I think, 5 years or something like that, the stat was, as far as yards after contact, which is what we have a problem with our offensive line, Marshawn Lynch was number 1. Eddie Lacy was number 2.
Of course.
So this guy can take a hit and go forward, which is something we kind of need in this running game. So if our guys are getting destroyed in the front line like they've been getting destroyed, you put Lacy in, maybe you get a 2 or 3 yard gain instead of a 1 or 2 yard loss. I'm just saying.
I think you're right. I mean, I don't know how many, it's 4 years, isn't it? So what how many touchdowns? About 20? Something like that over his career. I mean, that's worth it. I mean, if he's nimble enough still to make the cuts and make the turns. Yeah. If you're just going to give him the ball like fat man with ball and just make him run forward, then you could do that too.
Yeah.
You could hide it in his stomach fat and just keep running.
And another questionable pickup that a lot of people talked about, Will, was Luke Jokel, but I think you and I saw a video that kind of helped that a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, there was I forget the site that had it, but
I wish
basically
I could give credit, yeah.
Yeah, they went over had a lot of film on Jokel from the games he played last year, and I think a little bit of the year before, talking about what he does well and doesn't do well. I think what the team wants is they've spoken highly about George Fant in the past, and the guy can only go up from here because he's got the athletic ability. If he knows what he's doing, he can possibly do something. I think they want to start Jokel at left guard, because I think that's probably his best position. and they can kick him out to left tackle if Fant's still looking lost out there. But on the film study, they were just talking about he moves well, he resets well if he's beaten the first time. The biggest problem he's been having has been with the cut blocks and bull rushes, so that's something to look for. But I think I like this pickup. I think especially when you consider what other tackles we're going for in free agency. I mean, holy hell! Russell Okung is now the highest paid offensive tackle in the league. Just let that sink in.
Wow!
But I think Jokel, if he does well, we got a chance to re-sign him and maybe lock down that position, whichever one it is. And if not, it doesn't hamstring us for the next several years. So I think there's potential there.
Yeah, I do too. And something that Jokel was good at that I felt like, I'm just watching the games like everybody else. I don't know anything. But it seems like when the linemen stunted, our guys got lost. And supposedly that's something that Luke is exceptional at, as far as when guys stunt, he stays where he's supposed to do, and he does what he's supposed to do in those situations. So that's going to help us out, hopefully, tremendously with our young guys on how to pick up stunts and how to deal with that.
He can be beaten, but from what I saw, he does not get fooled. So.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. What about you, Dustin? Who's a pickup on this free agency frenzy that you kind of like, that we haven't talked about?
Oh, real quick with Jokel, I think it's kind of interesting. He was the number 2 overall pick. And then he went to Jacksonville, did what most people do in Jacksonville, and just underperformed.
Right.
And so maybe getting over here will help, right the ship, and he'll be better. Because obviously he's a talented offensive lineman, which is something we're just not used to seeing, which is probably when you guys are watching that video, I didn't see it, but I assume them saying things like, he looks like an offensive lineman. He does this well as an offensive lineman. It's not something we're used to hearing, because we're like, yeah, he's pretty good for a basketball player. So, I mean, the fact that we have a guy that actually played offensive line, that's what he does. That's his natural position, and he's spent a lot of time in the trenches doing just that.
Yeah.
I just want us to be mediocre on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And if that guy plays mediocre, that's a huge step up for us. So
I think there's, again, with these two you've talked about, Jokel and Lacey, and we can throw Blair Walsh in there. I think the big word we're using for is that P word that we hate, is potential. Yeah. Because potentially these 3 picks could be fantastic. They could be disastrous. Potentially they could be disastrous. But the good news about that is that we're talking about a series of 1 or 2 year deals here that we can cut bait rather quickly on, which is also good news. Little Mo, is there anybody that we haven't mentioned on free agency that you were excited about, or you thought that was kind of a cool pick? Or
Well, I'm just talking about the league. I was really excited for Calais Campbell to sign somewhere not in the NFC West area.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
That guy is such a pain in the butt, isn't he?
Yeah, so I was excited to see him go in the AFC.
Yeah, I was too. We were all excited when Calais Campbell was, goodbye. Good to see you later.
Except we do play them this year.
Oh, do we really? Go figure.
Of course.
A couple guys that kind of interesting to me. There's Terrence Jarvin that was just signed off the Redskins, a linebacker. We did a couple of linebackers in the last 24, 48 hours. And I don't know if you guys are familiar. The reason Terrence Jarvin, the old Saturday Night Live with Dan Aykroyd, he did a thing called Fred Jarvin. Have you ever heard this?
No.
Okay, well, it goes something like this.
Fred Jarvin, male prostitute.
So, every time I hear Terrence Jarvin, I want to go, Terrence Jarvin, male prostitute. But the one guy that kind of stood out to me that I read a little bit about was Arthur Brown. Arthur Brown was drafted by the Ravens. He signed here from the Jags. Again, you said, went to Jacksonville, kind of fell off the face of the earth. He was a second-round pick in a couple years ago for the Ravens. They thought he was going to be the heir apparent to Ray Lewis. It didn't turn out that way. He's bounced around a little bit, but when he was in high school in 2007, they did an article about him, and Pete Carroll, ironically, who I think at the time was still at USC in 2007, wasn't he? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Called him one of the best linebackers I've seen in years. Now, I'm sure Carroll has a sweet spot for him probably, And for me, when it comes to defensive players, I think Pete kind of knows what he's doing on that side of the ball. So there's another guy that if Pete can get that kind of potential out of Arthur Brown, we may be seeing Arthur Brown quickly move up. Now, he's not very tall. He's not very big as far as linebackers. He is a special teams demon. That's how he's kind of made his living. But to me, that's an exciting pick because when you have somebody like, Pete say a few years ago, man, this kid's the best linebacker I've seen in 7 or 8 years, then maybe there's some potential there. I really like Bradley McDougald, too. We haven't talked about him. But I like that pickup, and I like Michael Wilhoit and all these guys. I think Will overall, this is a list of they're throwing linebackers, and they're trying to help the running game, and they're trying to help depth at linebacker, and they're trying to help our depth at defensive back. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. And if you notice, all the guys we're bringing in until we signed Wilhoit, and then your male prostitute friend here. But they're all 26 years old, or right around there. And Jarvin's only 27. Wilhoit's the old man in the group. He's 30. Yeah. So they're bringing in guys. They're young. They're hungry. If they do well, and I'm sure a couple of these guys are going to do well enough that the team's going to want to keep them around. We're going to have a couple of long-term pickups out of this group.
That'd be great.
I think it's really going to help. McDougald is a guy I like a lot, and from what I'm hearing, the team is excited about being able to sign him as well. So don't sleep on that kid. I think he's going to make a contribution this year.
Good. Dustin, your thoughts on this list? They're not exactly what I know in a perfect world we'd want, TJ Lang, and we want all these guys, but they are trying to upgrade the running game. You can't deny that.
Yeah, and the offensive line, and we brushed or didn't even mention Odeabushi.
Right.
So he's another guy that he played guard in Houston, and from what I've read, he seems like he's a offensive lineman, like a legit offensive lineman in the NFL. So that's I'm happy. My biggest concern going into the offseason was the offensive line, as a lot of Seahawks fans felt the same way, and I'm just glad they're taking steps to address it, even though I'm a little concerned about Jokel's knee, but at least they're doing something, and if his knee's right, he can do probably a lot of good things for us. And, like I said, by platooned linebacker, just bring in guys, and whoever sticks. And this Bradley McDougald guy, I've heard he's pretty good, too. I was reading, I think it was Pro Football Focus had him as like the 36th or something like that, best safety in the league last year, which isn't bad. There's only, there's 32 teams. Most of them have 2 starters.
Right.
So that's pretty good if he's rated that high. And all they said was something about him when he plays he plays really well. He's got good ball skills, but he's a little inconsistent. And so when he's bad, he's bad. But if he can get in a system where they can correct the bad, then he could be a real good player in the league. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah, another one with the potential. Matt, your thoughts on the free agent acquisitions? They've certainly been busy over in VMAC.
Yeah, but it's one of those years again where you talk about potential, and that potential has the sometimes puts a bit of a fear into the fan base that we're going backwards or we're not getting You see people like Blair Walsh, you see how she could go. You see, as soon as you start losing some of those names, you start to get a bit worried, And I just think the fans just need to cool down and calm down a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean, they're busy, they're out there, they're doing stuff, they're making stuff happen. Nobody can claim, as Dustin says, that they're sort of sitting there doing nothing. So, let's see how these guys do.
Yeah. Little Mo, your thoughts?
I don't know.
Well, don't know anything. All right. Well, on that note, I guess we will go ahead and end the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right. That's the end of the third quarter. Coming up, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room that is Marshawn Lynch as a potential Oakland Raider and Richard Sherman as potential trade bait. You are listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, where we talk, laugh, and love Seahawk football. We'll be right back after this.
Hello everybody, this is Statsman Mark, and when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter!
Oh yes, it's time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, we gather information and make an educated guess about how some of these recent rumors involving some former and current Seahawk players will actually wind up. You know, it's the offseason, and the offseason sends out some crazy stuff, and they're looking for any little sign that something crazy is going to happen so that they can splatter it all over Twitter and the internet and everybody can freak out about it. So we're going to go ahead and freak out about some of these reports. And the first one, of course, is the report that our own Marshawn Lynch may unretire and join the Raiders, which is an interesting discussion because we all know he's a Raiders fan. He grew up in Oakland. We get that. That he would actually, he was seen up at the VMAC. Oh my God, a former player at the VMAC. And next thing you know, well, he's asking to unretire or he's not. And, oh, he's going to do this, or he's not going to do this. And of course, this is one of your most unpredictable players in NFL history, trying to figure out what he's going to do. So I will.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Even if he goes to the Raiders, he won't be in Oakland. He might be in Las Vegas.
I agree. For like a year. Right. That's a good point. So what I'm going to do is ask all of you a flat-out percentage chance that Marshawn Lynch starts the upcoming season as the starting running back for the Oakland Raiders, and why. Maddie, what's your percentage this happens?
Well, I think it's a 5%. It's a 5% chance. And the only reason I think it's a 5% chance is because, obviously, as we all know, Oakland is totally was his dream. You know, it would be amazing for him to walk out there as a Raider because that's very special, probably to him. But your question was whether he'll be their starting running back, and no, he wouldn't be. He'd be the backup. But I'll give him a 5%. Speaking of running backs, though, Moses, just as a question, is Adrian Peterson still available?
Yes,
he is.
Yes, because he wants $8 million a year.
Yeah.
Now I would take him not to be a running back though, but just so he could give him a stick and he could just beat Eddie Lacy's fat ass and make sure he loses weight. Just get his little switch out and just keeps beating the hell out of Eddie Lacy until he loses weight. So that's what I would do.
Well, okay. Well, but what if I said that he would unretire and join the Raiders? What's your thought there?
Who? What?
You.
Adrian Peterson?
No, Marshawn. What if I just said he's going to unretire and join the Raiders?
Oh, unretire and join the Raiders, and then just close out the season so he can sort of retire again as a Raider. 15%.
Okay. Dustin, what is your percentage chances on this all happening?
I'm low on that too. I'm thinking like 10%ish. This is. I mean, we haven't heard anything specifically from him or his agent, from what I understand, and he looks like he's having way too much fun in retirement. So
he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, and there's a lot of red tape they got to go through to make that happen. Mm-hmm. So I just don't see it.
Yeah, yeah. Will, what's your percentage?
I'm also going 10%. I have no doubt that he misses playing football. I doubt that he would miss training camp. I doubt that he misses dealing with the media. I doubt that he would be eager to come back and hand over $2.5 million to Seattle for the signing bonus we didn't collect when he retired last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to want to play for Oakland for what Oakland's going to be willing to pay him. I will say 10% because it's Marshawn Lynch. If he decided to become a male porn star, I wouldn't bat an eye. The guy will do whatever the guy is going to do, and nobody's going to see it coming. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I see it. Little Mo, what's your percentage of this happening?
A 1% chance. Because he's having so much fun, like what Dustin said. Like, why would he go back? Yeah.
Well, and he's also your favorite player of all time.
Well, that's another topic.
But that's true. All these are great points. You all brought up a lot. He's having fun. You remember all those games when he was on the team that he would spend a series or a quarter off getting his back looked at. I don't think he wants to go through that again. He's 31. He's having a lot of fun. There's just a lot of red tape to go through to make this happen. I don't think the Raiders, the Raiders can't possibly be thinking that since they lost, this is one of those things that they lost their starting running back, so let's plug in, let's put 1 + 1 = 2, and let's connect the dots and get them a running back as quick as possible. Oh, Marshawn Lynch, he likes the Raiders. Let's throw him in there, Yeah. And it's like when Pete Carroll, like when Reggie Bush was a free agent. Oh, everybody had Reggie Bush coming to Seattle because, well, USC and Reggie Bush and Pete Carroll and, whatever. That's just stupid. And that's, to me, this is kind of borderline, it's the off-season ridiculous freaking out about it. Because even if it happens, I honestly, no offense, I don't want a 31-year-old running back with a back problem coming back on my team. So it's okay if he wants to go to Oakland, you go right ahead, you do you, boo-boo, because I'm ready to have at least a chance at a full-time running back, and I just don't think he's, at this point, like you say, he's having too much fun. He wouldn't like dealing with the press. He wouldn't like dealing with a lot of stuff. But because it's him, you have to keep that percentage somewhere. So I'm also going to go 10% on him just because it's Marshawn. And nobody on this planet, I don't even think Mama Lynch knows what her boy's going to do. Nobody knows what he's going to do. And, who thought he would go to Egypt? Who thought he would go to Haiti and build homes? Who thought he would, another thing we haven't talked about. His business, I think, is his beast mode business is giving him 7 figures as far as income. So he's not hurting for money.
Half of it's probably for me and you.
Probably most of that is for me and you. Because that little Mo, man, first time we got to Seattle, like plane had just touched ground. He's like, "We're going to the beast mode store." I'm like, "Okay, we got to go to the hotel first." But in other words, he's making really good money. We know he hasn't spent any of his money supposedly from his contract with the Seahawks. So there's really I don't see why you would want to do this. I understand he played for the Raiders, but really, I mean, is it worth all that trouble? I say no, but we'll see. Real quick, the other big amazing thing was that somebody sent out an internet article about how Richard Sherman can be bought if the price is right. But all everyone saw was Richard Sherman on the trading block. But then when you read the article, it's, if the price is right. So I will ask you guys, Maddie, what would you say is okay to get rid of Richard Sherman?
Would I say it's okay to get rid of Richard Sherman?
Yeah, what's your price?
Oh, heavens. I want Cooper Helfert.
Wrong guy to ask, Moses.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, look, I think the whole story is bunkum. I think that's complete load of nonsense from start to finish. But he's one man. He's only one man out of a cornerback group. And whilst he dominates one side of the field and stops at least half of the players going from one side of the field to stop dead in their path, so he's clearly got some value. How much, I have absolutely no idea what I'd want for him, but it would be a lot.
Okay, a lot. Will, what's your price?
Multiple first-round picks, because I would set it at a price that nobody's going to meet. Because you do not become a better team by trading away your best players. I mean,
Agreed.
is the front office probably a little torqued at Sherman after last year? Yeah. Just like Michael Bennett wanted a new contract a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. Then that one columnist down in Texas somewhere came out with the article saying he demanded a trade to Atlanta. So there's a little kernel of a story here that somebody's blowing up into a bonfire, and it's just much ado about nothing.
I agree. Dustin?
Yeah.
All right, then. Little Mo?
Sherman? Now, the whole Richard Sherman thing, I mean, I said that was my big offseason prediction, is that they'd trade Sherman because of things that have happened during the season where he's starting to become a problem, it seemed like, on the sidelines and whatnot. And in addition to that, he's getting close to the age where his skills are probably going to start to decline a little bit. So if they want to trade him,
I'm in favor of this.
Was that?
You're kind of in favor of this.
I'm okay with it because if you trade him now's about the best time to trade him because you're going to get maximum payoff for it before he starts declining too much. And so if you're going to do it, now's the time. If you want to keep him around for another couple years and try and keep him as part of the core and win, that's fine too. But if you're going to get rid of him, it has to be, something that's going to be worth it. And it could be a player, it could be draft picks, whatever. And this year there's supposed to be a pretty strong draft class as far as safeties or corners go too. So timing is right if they're going to do it.
Well, and you know, not to kind of tell on all of us, they're saying this shouldn't happen and all that, which I'm with you guys, it shouldn't happen, it's ridiculous. But we did less than a year or two ago have the discussion on this very show about Cam Chancellor saying, well, now's the time to trade Cam, because, you know, he's only going to decline from here on out and blah, blah, blah. And boy, I feel stupid for saying that now. But at the time, we were like, oh, now's the time to trade Cam. So maybe Dustin's got something here. Little Mo, what about you?
No.
Okay.
like no, don't talk to you, or
no chance.
Just know everything.
Just know everything. All right. He's just forgetting it. All right. Fair enough. Well, Lil Mo's getting grumpy, so it may be time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us this off season, and we certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something. What did we learn in this episode? Well, we learned how Martellus Bennett feels about the celebrations and who spends too much time in the bathroom. We learned that Will likes good penetration and clean noses. I don't know. We learned that Dustin...
Wait, what?
Yeah. And we also learned that Dustin is going to show Little Mo pole vaulting when he's old enough. And that Matt...
Okay.
We learned that Matt can't forget Cooper Helfrich. We learned that Blair Walsh looks like a hobbit and Brock Coyle has a huge...
Just like an orc.
What about me?
Oh, is it an orc?
He looks like an orc.
What'd you learn about me?
What we learned about Little Mo is he gets grumpy when you talk about Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman leaving the Seahawks. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, Newshound Shadowhawk Will, Dustin as the Beaver, Little Mo, Statsman Mark wherever he is, Roger Goodell, Mozet, Mario Lopez, Vivica Fox, Buddy Hackett, Sheila McRae, Art Carney. Good night, everybody, and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Yeah, what they said.
The return!